I haven't eaten anything in over 7 years. My condition means I'll never eat again. Unfortunately, there is no cure. Eating through my heart keeps me alive. The biggest question I always get is, do you miss food? And I'm like, yes, of course, anybody would miss food. A big thing I want to try and do is create a change in the way that people with chronic illnesses are treated. I'm currently on 45,000 followers, which is surreal to me. Hi sunshines, my name is Liv, and in case you don't know, I've got a paralysed stomach.
Morning. I'm just going to help you just disconnect your feed for you.
Gastroparesis is a paralysis of the stomach. I'm unable to eat or drink because my stomach is paralysed. That means it doesn't digest any food. When I eat, the food will just sit in my stomach and it's got nowhere to go, so it ends up coming back up out of my mouth.
So this is the feed.
My main tube feed goes directly into my heart, and the reason for that is to provide access to my bloodstream. So because none of my digestive system works properly, we have to feed through the bloodstream to completely bypass it.
And then what we have to do is give this a really good clean to stop any bugs or anything getting up into that line.
Because the line goes directly into the bloodstream, if any dirt or bacteria was to get down that, it would be going straight to my heart and then to all my major organs. And that can very quickly turn into sepsis that can be fatal.
It's quite scary as well when it is such a sterile procedure. Her life is in my hands, so I struggled with that a little bit. It was quite frightening.
I have to do this every single day because I get all my nutrition through my bloodstream. So if I went 24 hours without this feed, it would be like going without any food or drink. So that's my main source of nutrition, and that is my main source of hydration.
It's now going into her body.
And then that can go into a backpack. It's very difficult not being able to eat or drink. It's such a big part of life, and you don't really realise that until it's taken away from you. Like, so much of life does revolve around food. It's an experience, it's pleasurable, and it's really hard having that taken away from you. Unfortunately, there is no cure for gastroparesis, and there's very limited treatment options as well. Doctors don't know if I'll ever be able to eat or drink again. It's one of those things that they just don't know.
Look what I found!
What?
When Olivia was a baby, she had no problems eating. And it was when she got to about 3 that I noticed that there was something not quite right. I kept taking her to the doctors and they kept saying she needs to eat more fruit, or she needs to eat more vegetables, she needs to just relax. And constantly I was just hitting brick walls, and they'd do a few tests and then they'd say, no, she's fine.
I used to get very upset when I could hear my family downstairs eating. I'd get very annoyed at just being around other people eating. It was very difficult to come to terms with.
When she got really poorly at 16, 17, they were just not listening at all. It was, she'll grow out of it.
I was in college at that point. I was running on next to no nutrition during the day. I became very socially withdrawn. I barely had any friends. I actually had to drop out at the last 5 months of college and teach myself from home. I didn't actually get an official diagnosis until I was 18. The day we finally got a diagnosis, I remember that so well.
Me too.
We literally just came out of the hospital room, didn't we?
Yeah, we were just sobbing.
We just hugged each other,
yeah.
At the biggest cry. My mental health has been massively affected by all the medical stuff that I've been through. I have a lot of anxiety, I struggled with depression, and unfortunately I suffer quite badly with OCD, and that has really been caused by medical trauma and medical PTSD. I've required a lot of support off my family, particularly my mum. You have been the biggest support. I don't think I could have got through any of this without you. You have been the one who advocated for me when I couldn't speak up for myself. You were the one who was always in my corner, fighting the battle with me. I couldn't have done it without you. It means the world to me.
Oh, you're just my little baby.
I've probably been actively sharing my medical journey online for a good 3 years now. I originally joined the community just to find other people going through the same thing that I was. But as time went on, I decided to create a TikTok and start more on raising awareness for my conditions and educating people about them. A lot of people don't even know that tube feeding even exists. I'm currently on 45,000 followers, which is surreal to me. Hi sunshines, my name is Liv, and in case you don't know, I've got a paralysed stomach and I'm fed through a tube that goes into my heart. And this person wants to know when the last time I ate or drank something orally was. A lot of people ask how does it work? How does feeding through the heart work? A lot of people get very confused by that. I am met with more positivity than negativity. I get a lot of DMs saying that people have just felt less alone seeing my content, thanking me for raising awareness for stuff that's not usually spoken about. A few negative comments I get is you don't look sick, you don't look disabled, and some even harsher ones saying this is a waste of taxpayers' money, which is really hurtful to hear. Sick doesn't have a look, but a lot of people assume that it does. So a lot of the times I feel like I'm constantly having to justify that I am sick. I get so many more positive comments than negative comments, so I tend to focus on those. A big thing I want to try and do is create a change in the way that people with chronic illnesses are treated, especially within the healthcare system. And I think awareness and education really does help contribute towards that. I noticed a lot when I'm in public, people will often stare at my tubes if they're on show. I've even had small children point at me and the parents don't tell them not to. I find that walking the dog really helps my mental health. I just find it so peaceful and just gives me mental clarity. I think we've come very far in our confidence in our journey, yeah. I don't like when people say they feel sorry for me. I feel like I am so much more than just my illness. That is just one part of my life. I can still do stuff I enjoy. I've still got personality. I'm still me. There's more to life than just my illness. Yes. I really want to carry on with my TikTok. I want to keep raising awareness and I want to keep doing it until I help create a change.
Yes, definitely.
That's
Making
something
a change
I'm adamant on doing. I like to remain hopeful about the future.
Yes.
I like to live in hope that I may get better one day.
You don't know what's coming, do you?
Yeah,
in the future?
So I'm really proud of myself for getting to where I am now. I always think back to Liv at the beginning of her journey, who felt so lost and so alone. She had no voice and couldn't speak up for herself. And I always think if she could see me now, she just wouldn't be able to believe it.